Hello, Razzles. Thank you for joining me today through the internet. And we are going to do a lesson today called Let the Blurb Help You. Now, the blurb is the sentences on the back of the book. And the author puts it there for a reason, and it can tell you a lot about the book before you decide to read it. So you're going to be in charge of choosing a book today, and I want you to make sure you use the blurb to help you decide if it's a good book. The things you can learn from the blurb are the text structure, the main problem, and the theme. Now, you don't learn always all these things from the back of the book, but these are possible things you might learn. Let me tell you a little more about them. The text structure is how the text is laid out. So what kind of book are you going to be reading? Is this all going to be one big story told through several chapters, or is it a bunch of short stories within the book, or is it possibly a collection of poems? So usually the back of the book will tell you what structure the text is in. The next thing is the main problem. So there's going to be a main character in that almost every single book you read that's a fiction novel. The main character will have a problem. So you can usually find out from the blurb on the back what that problem is for the main character. And the last thing is the theme. So the theme is like the message or the important idea of what the book is about. So some common themes are friendship, courage, truth, jealousy. There's usually a big subject like that is covered through the book. Oftentimes in fairy tales it's good versus evil. Good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. Alright, so those are the things I want you to look for. Let me show you a book I'm reading, and we'll read the blurb. This is one of my very favorite books in the whole world, and you are not allowed to pick it today because we're going to be reading it for Read Aloud in both classes. It's called Holes by Louis Sachar. You can see it's a Caldecott Medal winner. Alright, let's look at the back. The blurb says, Stanley Yelnats is under a curse. A curse that began with his no-good, dirty, rotten, pig-stealing great-great-grandfather and has since followed generations of Yelnatses. Now Stanley has been unjustly sent to a boys' detention center. Unjustly means it wasn't fair and wasn't right, and boys' detention center is like a kid's jail. So now Stanley has been unjustly sent to a boys' detention center, Camp Green Lake, where the boys build character by spending all day, every day, digging holes exactly 5 feet wide and 5 feet deep. There is no lake at Camp Green Lake, but there are an awful lot of holes. But what could be buried under a dried-up lake? Stanley tries to dig up the truth in this inventive and darkly humorous tale of crime and punishment and redemption. Alright, now let's look for those things I told you that the blurb might tell you. First one is text structure. So is this a single story, lots of stories, poems? And I can tell from the back that this is going to be one big long story about this boy named Stanley that's at Camp Green Lake. So I can say that the text structure is just one long story. Alright, let's think about the next thing. Main character's problem. Alright, so our main character, I know, is Stanley. Now let me look back at the blurb to figure out, well, what's his problem? Alright, so I hear it says that he is under a curse, so there's one problem. And then another one is he's unjustly sent to a boys' detention center. So I can tell what his problem is going to be. He's in kind of like kid jail. So I could write down that the main character's problem is he's under a curse and he's in a kid jail. The last one is the theme or message, like what's the big idea. So let's look back at the blurb. At the very end it says he tries to dig up the truth, and it's humorous, and it's about crime and punishment and redemption. And redemption means that something that was wrong is made right. That makes me think here how he's unjustly sent to a boys' detention center. that might be the redemption. Maybe he gets out of that boy's detention center since he was sent there for a bad reason, unjust. That means there wasn't justice. It was unfair and it was wrong. All right, so I can see that this book is about crime and punishment and redemption, something that was wrong being made right. That's the theme. All right, so the theme or message, crime, punishment, and redemption. That's what Holes is about. Now you're going to get a sheet that looks like this. Let the blurb help you. You're going to look through several books today and read the blurb on the back. And you're going to pick one that you want to read with a buddy. So that means you have to find another Razzle from either class. You can be in a group of 2 or 3. And you have to find a book that you want to read. And the blurb can help you decide if you want to read it or not. When you finally find a book, after you've read through a few, when you decide on your book and your buddy, you're going to fill out this sheet. You'll write the title of the book, only the one you choose to read. You don't have to fill this out for every book that you look at, just the one you pick. You're going to write down the text structure, so what is the format of the book. You're going to write the main character's problem, and you're going to write the theme or the message, the big idea. Now, in order to know that this is a good fit book for you, I want you to use the 5-finger rule. You may not choose a book if it doesn't pass the 5-finger rule. Let's review what that is. All right, so you're going to choose a book and open it up to anywhere. So anywhere in the middle. I don't want you to choose the first page. Anywhere in the middle. Make it flat and start to read the page. I want you to read a full page, not just a page that only has a few words on it. All right, every time you run into a word that's hard, I want you to put up a finger on your hand, okay? So if you get 1 finger, that book's probably easy for you, and it's okay if you choose an easy book. So I'm going to cross out this word too, because it's not too easy. It's okay if you choose a book that's easy for you. If you have 2 to 3 fingers, it's probably just right. But if you have 4 or 5 fingers by the end of the page, that book's too hard, and I don't want you to pick it for reading with your book buddy. You'll either have to find a new buddy, or you and your buddy will have to agree on a different book, because both buddies have to get through the page with 3 or less errors. So if you hit 4, that's too high. So right here at the bottom of the page it says, I read a full page from the middle of the book and had less than 4 hard words. So you may only choose a book that passes that test. So when you have a book that passes that test, you've read the blurb, you can fill out this page, check this box so I know it passed the 5-finger rule. And remember, you have to choose a book that someone else in the group is reading too. Okay, you have the rest of round 3 to do this assignment. You have lots of books to choose from, and I want you to read the blurb, do the 5-finger test, and then the one you decide that you want to read with a buddy, fill out the sheet. And make sure you and your buddy agree on a book. So start thinking about who you might want to read with. All right, I'll meet with you next time to find out what you choose. Save your papers because I want to see what you wrote. Keep your book and your paper in your book box. Tomorrow you'll bring your book and your paper to see me so I can see what you picked. Thank you.